to double check because, like I said, I changed everything and now I'm not. Yeah, okay, I'm live. There we go. Let's get the word out on Twitter and X, and I'm still doing things the same way after 9 years. Welcome to the Bonnet Chronicles. I'm your host, Kalari GXC. Give me just a minute, y'all, to get the word out. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm having an old lady moment. Don't mind me. There we go. Unspoutable as well. Okay, spoutable. I'm just gonna hit it because there we go. Well, y'all, it's like I said, and I know I'm shocking a few people. I didn't even tell Pix yet about this, but I'm good. I made this decision completely on my own. I made a lot of tough decisions today, but I will get to that in just a bit. As you know, Tuesday. Hi, Beans. Don't worry, I'm live right now. I didn't want to make. Oh no, it's okay. I didn't want to make a big announcement yet because I thought about it last night after we all talked on Discord and I talked to Greg about that and some other heavier topics. I had to make a decision about this. And it doesn't come lightly, it doesn't come easy, and it's something that I think I needed to do a while ago. So, this is the series finale of the Bonnet Chronicles. I want to thank everybody who came over from Snatching Edges, from the Social Aware Nightmare podcast, and I'm going to do a little slideshow giving a little history of everything I've been through in the last couple of over a decade now. But I just want to thank people because I know after Tuesday, I felt broken. I'm not going to lie, I'm not going to sugarcoat this shit. I felt like the end of the world was upon us. I panicked because I was the only one in my house, and still, technically, until the new ones get in here, the only one in my house with a functioning passport. I know a lot of people think I was being just hyperbolic or didn't know what I was talking about in regards to that. Oh, that's Kiddo's old one. You can't use that anymore because it's a minor, and it expired after 5 years. But my passport, which I got right here, and it was a diplomatic one back then, expires next year, but it's still usable. It expires, I believe, on my birthday of next year. Yep. 2025, actually, in July 2025. I don't want to have to think on the level of I'm getting out of here, but I got my exit strategy already planned out and I'm working on things. I'm going to get to a list of things that people who want to hunker down or want to plan to get out of here safely can get to today. This doesn't come easy for me. I love talking politics and social issues, but we are in dark, dangerous times. And I'm not going to spend another 4 years doomsaying, doom crying, listing off the names of people who are going to be lynched, listing off the names of people who are going to be stopped, frisked, detained. I did my part. My family did their part to vote properly. We worked our asses off, text banking, phone banking, reaching out to whoever we could to do the right thing this year. I argued with people who I knew were going to suffer because they were a one topic issue with the Gaza situation here in Michigan. Y'all thought abstaining, protest voting, or literally voting for the other guy was going to be okay because you were sticking it to us Dems who couldn't give you everything you wanted off the bat. And now you are literally going to be under the guy who not only had the first Muslim ban, which directly affected me because of my neighbors from NC, but Gaza, if you were so worried about it, you just gave the presidency to a man who literally is on tape saying it's going to be resort properties. He is going to put his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, in charge of that. And any of you who wanted to talk about America not being in wars no more because we were in that awful Iraq conflict for over 20 years, be prepared for our troops being rolled out to help Putin against the Ukraine, to help Bibi against the Palestinians. All the stuff that you claimed you wanted to protect and prevent, all the lives you claimed to be about saving, you have put in jeopardy domestically and abroad. And I don't want to hear, oh, Tin, you told us so. Because those of you who follow me know I've been telling you so. This cast, and when I upload it to YouTube, which I'm going to fucking love because I've already torched my YouTube channel by saying goodbye to a certain community as it is. I'm good with starting over. I'm good at starting again. A&D will still go on Saturdays, another nerdy discussion. But after today, the Bonnet Chronicles has to stop. I've put my life on the line for this cast and other casts that were politically and socially aware. I've had threats to myself and my family. And now, for the holidays, I can't even sit across from the people that I married into because I don't feel safe. I know they willingly went to the polls to vote against my rights and freedom. This is a hell that I didn't choose to be in. I had to sit around speaking to people as if they would hear me and you didn't. You didn't think enough beyond yourselves. And now you've played yourselves. Everybody wants to say America has enemies. Yes, we did. And a lot of you played into the enemy's hands with what you did on Tuesday. They didn't have to launch a war to destroy us. They let us do it to ourselves. Point blank, democracy is on life support. Freedom, as we know it, because I need to separate that some of us were never truly free here anyway, with stop and frisk, with being able to be killed, with no knock raids, with being able to be destroyed at a traffic stop, or if people think we're stealing when we're not. I've already had to navigate America as a black person, as a black woman especially. I've already had to teach my son as a black man how to navigate this world and try to stay safe. I've had to educate my partner on what it's like for us so that he understands our fears, our concern. And I am saying that from the safe perch of a rural white town where I don't really have to know anybody out here. Then the few I do, the people that mow our lawn, which live close, the people that do our septic, which is not even 2 houses away, and the people directly across from us are the only ones that really know my black ass live here. I could hunker down to stay safe for so long. But there are things coming that I don't think you all understand or comprehend. And that's why it's not just going to be doomsaying and calling out today. It is going to be ways to anybody who wants to hear it, how to buckle down and protect yourself as best as possible. Because the reality of the situation is, even though I want to get my family, including my friends who I think are family, up out of here, that is not going to be easy. It takes paperwork. Right now, passport renewal forms, for those of you that don't understand, passport application forms for your family members. Because if you do not have a valid passport, even getting a visa for tourism that you may have to use to parlay into other stuff, not going to be possible. New passport photos done yesterday. For me, my now grown son, so I don't have to jump through hoops or get a diplomatic passport again. because I don't have to fight my ex to prove that I'm not going to take him out of the country and disappear. And for my partner, James, I don't know what you knocked over, honey, but please be careful. The fact of the matter is, some of you want to play like the rule and norm is still for everybody. Some of you want to act like this is normal. Even in 2016, I didn't feel the level of fear that I feel right now. Even with Joe Biden still in charge until January, I had visceral nightmares Wednesday. Well, yeah, we didn't get to bed till like Wednesday early morning after midnight, about 1:30. I woke myself up from that nightmare, crying so hard that Greg just held me and let me let it out. Because I dreamt of the roundups of me and people who look like me and people who don't look like me but thought they'd be safe because they think they can be the mono minority. The kangaroo court that told us we're the enemies of our own country for daring to vote Democrat or speak out. And need I remind you, a little brief history, I spoke out on any politician, whether they had a D or a R by their name. It's all up. It's all archived on YouTube. But some of you want to just say, oh, this is a Dem sheep. Or worse, I was on a Dem plantation. I was voting for the party that did the least harm. Because whether you want to believe it or not, the Republicans are looking to harm us. They always have. That's why I started this cast on Twitch. Because I wanted to try to remind people of harm reduction. These people for years have said they're coming after our Social Security. They're coming after our right to vote. They're coming after women's reproductive rights. They didn't want Roe versus Wade anymore. They didn't want marriage equality. And the youth is what really disappointed me because you're pointing fingers at Gen X. And get it right, it's white Gen X. And I don't care if you think I'm playing the race card at this time. We need to separate. We tried unity with you fuckers and the exit polls don't lie. There can be no coalition right now. So if you're going to get mad at me for talking my blackness out, I suggest you leave the room at this point. Because I'm going to get real, I'm going to get raw, and I'm going to get frank with stuff. So let's get this slideshow started. I was always passionate about people voting. My grandmother told me, vote, because they don't want us to have it, and they'll take it from us if we let them. And with Project 2025, which some of you motherfuckers are still going by rule of law and acting like this shit isn't real. You did it in 2016, technically 2015, when I really walked away from a lucrative job, the job of my dreams. Promotions at a game company. My fucking wheelhouse. But I was dealing with harassment. I was dealing with wanting to talk politics and not wanting the big ass company that took a chance with me to get harassed and called for supporting me and my views. Because whether people like it or not, when you have strong political views, it does affect the jobs you work for. So I took freelance jobs. I did speech writing for a congressman's first bid. I started writing seriously my first novel, which I launched 2 years ago. The second one's about to be launched. But I went heavily into talking politics and social issues. I started with the CCC, my political group that fell apart. Then Diverse Voices Nations, a magazine idea that we had. It was digital, but it was fun while it lasted. But that fell apart too. And I was aimless. I did customer service jobs. I did anything I could to keep my son and myself head above water. Survival is not new to me. Survival is baked in me from my ancestors. But I did not think I was going to have to fight this hard for survival. And today, as Greg and I talked, and the reality of the situation hit us as we're planning a proper exit strategy for when shit gets bad, and I'm going to tell you how shit gets bad, so don't you worry about that. We made a very painful decision. Now, I wasn't loud about that on here. And I made the mistake on YouTube when I was a part of certain communities of believing that I could share my joy, my attempts, my successes with people because I was excited about potentially having another child with my now amazing husband, who was my best friend for almost 2 decades. We wanted to try for a little girl, but we would have loved any, any gender that came out of me. And when the OBGYN told me this summer that I had lost enough weight, that she seen that I was doing the right thing, my pap smear came back negative, the fibroids weren't going to be an issue, that she believed that I could try, and she wanted to see me pregnant on the next visit, the amount of joy that I felt, the amount of you did it. You got the stability you want. You're out where you need to be to write and live with your partner and have fun. You're away from people because people are exhausting. You could grow your own produce and shit. I was just in my element this summer. And the whole idea of trying for a baby, even at my age and being a black woman, was already high risk. And so today, as Greg and I sat across from each other talking about the future, because I've declined going to a family gathering for the holidays, I'm going to do a small dinner here for him, kiddo, and I, because I can't look at their faces right now. Because they voted against me and my son. And that is honest. But we had to look at each other and realize that right now, in the foreseeable future, as long as we are on American soil, putting my life at risk for a pregnancy that will already be high risk isn't viable. So instead, when I see my OBGYN next, it's not going to be to do a pregnancy test. It's going to be to insert a birth control device so that I can't risk, again, becoming pregnant and then going back on anti-psych, antidepressant meds so that I can at least keep my mind straight while we figure everything out. Because this is not going to be easy, y'all. This is not going to be fun. I'm scared for women in America. I'm scared for black people in America. I'm scared for children in America. I'm scared for the LGBTQ+, Muslims, Jewish people, Southeast Asian and Asian people, Hispanic, even though you all voted against your self-interest, indigenous people. When I seen those exit polls, I was shocked. You've protested so hard against fracking and having your land drilled for oil. And now you're putting the guy who wants to repeal all the federal backing to protect your lands, to protect the environment, to not have you murdered while you are fucking protesting. And that is why I say with my full black chest, and I speak for me, but I know a lot of sister girls have said it, and I know a lot of you think you're going to browbeat us and guilt trip us. I'm retired after this. I don't want to be a part of no damn resistance. I have given you my voice for over fucking 10 years. I got called hyperbolic the first time I went after Trump, when I realized that the RNC was going to let this motherfucker be their nominee. After he disrespected a disabled reporter. After he went after a Gold Star military family because they happened to be Muslim. Watching him take a Purple Heart when he's a fucking draft dodger. Watching him completely abandon the rules of ethics, laws, and use America as his personal slush fund, even though you motherfuckers tried to run with the whole, well, he never took his presidential salary. He didn't have to. He could take bribes. The motherfucker is a 31 convicted felon. 31 indictments got through out of 34. And now the 91 that we were hoping he would get, doesn't matter. He got presidential immunity. And literally anyone who's not white, Christian, straight male, exactly beans. A lot of black women said, we're done. I don't want to talk for everybody because I'm definitely talking for myself. I am retired from this. I did not work hard to end up having to be a part of some fucking resistance. And to the woman who's trying to organize another woman's march, you can have a hearty fuck you too. I'm going to tell you the same thing I told you the first time you had a women's march. I voted the right way. Let me pause this Mitch McConnell thing because I got words for him. The first time. I am not going to sit around with a fucking pink pussy hat when I needed to organize so that we could get this motherfucker out in 4 years from 2016 to 2021. And even after we were met with a fucking violent insurrection that his people were inspired by, I still believed in American democracy. I still held my grandmother's words to my heart. Vote because they don't want us to, and they will take it from us. And you are stripping me of my grandmother's legacy. Because if you have read Project 2025, or at least watched my Bonnet Chronicles, when I broke down that they were going after the DOJ, the Department of Education, the FDA, vaccines, job discrimination for men, women, and black and BIPOC, and unfortunately, our right to vote. I literally played the clip on one of these Bonnet Chronicles where the motherfucker said, vote for me this time, and you'll never have to worry about voting again, because he knows. Y'all have killed democracy. And those of us who spent our blood, sweat, and tears trying to defend it, who took threats, who took literal hits to our professional careers, who were called out of our faces, mocked, called hyperbolic and worse, racial slurs lobbed at us, misogynistic terms lobbed at us. You told us to go fuck ourselves on Tuesday. And I don't want to hear any more conspiracy theories about how the votes were got. It doesn't fucking matter. Our side trying to be good guys, which pisses me off on the chaotic neutral standpoint, have conceded to this man. Because for some fucking reason, the Dems believe that we're still operating under the rules of normalcy. For some motherfucking reason, they think we can get through this and survive it. The 4 years under Trump wasn't bad enough. The preventable pandemic that lost millions of us. And it's going to get worse. And I cannot keep giving hope to a hopeless situation. I loved backing MVP. I loved backing Joe Biden simply for the fact that I got 4 years of fucking rest. And I have 4 years of hoping for better. And planning for things that I now have to throw the fuck away. But I still have hope for other things. I can write from anywhere. And I'm a writer now. A published writer. I got another book on the way that has nothing to do with politics or any of that shit. But I might just sit down and pen how I feel after fucking almost a decade and a half of trying to warn people and be treated like Cassandra from Greek mythology. I don't want to hear anymore you were right, Tim. Because you did that to me after the Avenatti shit. After that motherfucker blocked me when I told him, you need to stop talking about being a fighter. You've got women who are scared. You've got people of color who are scared. What are you going to do for us? And he responded with a block. And don't you know that motherfucker went down for being corrupt. But in Trump's new America, without a Department of Justice or a functioning Department of Justice, men like him and others, you know he's going to pardon himself. Everybody that participated in January 6, 2021's treason, it is going to be the wild, wild fucking West. And there are going to be a lot of white people crooning and preening because they feel on top right now. While black people, we are going to have to hold our head down, deal with more stop and frisk, deal with workplace discrimination that we can no longer report. Women, say hello to the stuff that our grandmothers and mothers went through before we were able to complain to HR about being sexually harassed in the workplace. You better get used to the fact that you no longer have a voice that will be able to be taken seriously when your manager or another coworker decides you're their target and it goes beyond just grabbing your bottom. Be prepared for everything that people fought for so that you could not go through that, to be back in play. And to the LGBTQ youth, not the ones of you who voted like your life depended on it, because I know you understood the assignment. As you had to flee your states of like Florida and stuff because of the don't say gay. But those of you who thought you would be all right because you had almost 2 decades of marriage equality, almost 2 decades of being able to be openly gay, openly trans, openly non-binary, openly asexual or pansexual or bisexual, openly lesbian or homosexual, because of the people who took hoses, dogs, the people who would do Stonewall, which gets you your Pride Parade. I'm not looking forward to Pride Parade 2025 because they've opened the door to having anti-Pride parades go right up alongside you, and violence will not get these motherfuckers in trouble. Y'all think that oppression is like an Olympic sport, that black people want you to feel our pain. We don't. That's why we've always voted harm reduction. And now congratulations to those of you who were marginalized, who still for some fuck all reason think you're going to be safe. Maybe you now can get a gold medal in the Oppression Olympics. I didn't want you to have to be a participant. But some of you really need to touch that hot stove and get fucking burnt. And black women, if you're watching me and listening to me right now, it's okay to be done. I know you want to protect. It is baked in us to protect, to nurture, to care for. It's okay to let it go. We've done all we can do. Empires have built up and crumbled for centuries. Great empires, even. And whether people want to hear this or not, America was a great empire. We were a melting pot. We were a social experiment that should not have lasted this long. And whether people want to admit it or not, we were the envy of this fucking world. We said we didn't need a monarchy. We had democracy. And it wasn't a fucking perfect system. I'm not stupid. But it was still enough to make us the envy of the world. We didn't tell everybody that we'll get you. There's enough social programs for everybody. We said if you work hard, you could get the American dream. We knew it was a facade after a few years. My generation especially. Gen X. Took a lot of fucking hits. Still be in the punching bag, even though you don't even want to know we exist most of the time. Sandwiched between entitled elders and entitled youngers, and knowing that none of this fucking shit matters because now we have several dictators with access to fucking nuclear weapons. If you didn't go to school and learn how to duck and cover, you are too young to sit at my table. If you didn't go to school during the times where movies like The Day After were shown to us because they wanted to prepare us for the potential of a nuclear war, if you didn't sit in history class and learn about Nagasaki and Hiroshima, if you didn't have a grandparent that literally fought in World War II versus the motherfucking Nazis, liberated those, I'm not even going to call them internment camps because that's what we're going to have here. They were literal concentration camps. Then don't fucking try to sit with me. Because I've had years of horrors to navigate and protect my child and myself from. And now my partner. Because we are seriously concerned that they're going to roll back even things like Lovin versus Virginia, which will make it illegal for us to be a married couple in the United States again. And if you don't think that can happen, we watched, even during this administration, states still banning books, banning abortion after the rollback versus Dobbs. They wanted to kill Roe versus Wade. They've made it known that they want Social Security. They call it entitlement. How is something that they automatically take out of our paychecks without any consent an entitlement? But do you think they're fervent mass? A lot of them who are on Social Security and shit understand that? They don't. But you're going to fuck around and you're going to get into the find out phase after January 2025. But these motherfuckers right here, I paused at this picture on the purpose. Because GOP was always the party of getting our profit. But these two architects, this one went silent. Beans brought that up. And I love you, girl, for saying that. But this one right here, I called him all sorts of idiot. I called Mitch McConnell out his face. I called him all kinds of dumb. I thought he was dumb, but nope, he was strategic. He dumbed down the nation, him and other Republicans. And like I said, this isn't just simply me mad because my team lost like some of you want to play. I have known since I was a child that every time a Democrat does good work for our economy, for stability, for crises here and abroad, like Jimmy Carter with the I believe it was the Iran hostage crisis. A Republican swoops in, says they didn't do good enough, and makes a fucking mess like Reagan did with his trickle-down policies, closing mental health facilities, and calling black women welfare fucking queens. To George Bush Sr. with the no new taxes, but I gotta walk that back. To his son that fucking ignored credible terrorist warnings, which got us 9/11. Was a horrible president during Katrina, which Kanye even said George Bush doesn't care about white people, to a stunned Mike Myers from SNL. Never before under a Republican president, even though I knew we would have to get a Democrat to clean it up, have I been this scared. Because never has a Republican president before called people who didn't vote for them enemies of our country. But Trump has. And Trump has detailed how violent he wants to get with those of us who dared not kiss his ass. He was just on last week talking about 9 rifles pointed at Liz Cheney, a member of his own motherfucking party who won't step in line. I bet you she will now. Her life depends on it. A lot of white women who told us, we hear you, we don't want to lose our rights. Y'all fucking goose stepped right into it. And it was all this motherfucker's he was the architect of all of this. He told us during Barack Obama's years, you're not getting that SCOTUS pick. Merrick Garland, who y'all are all throwing under the bus now because you still don't understand how anything works, and I'm not here to explain it to you anymore. Y'all can go back in my archives if you want to know how I feel about how you keep throwing Merrick Garland under the bus, especially now that he knows, and Jack Smith knows, that after next year, the DOJ is not going to be there, or it's going to be a fucking farce. They're already planning to not have a job. But this motherfucker right here, he said it. He's going to stack the courts under Trump, which he did. And he didn't just stack the Supreme Courts. Local, state courts are full of pro-Trump, anti-abortion types. We tried in Michigan to get Kyla Harris Bolden and that other lady in on our appellate system. Y'all didn't want them. And we are literally in a state with a blue governor whose life was already threatened once by pro-Trump wannabe militiamen. I fear for every sit-in Democrat politician right now after next year. Because he's already said he doesn't have a problem executing his enemies. And if you don't think you're on the list and you voted for as long as I have, consistently as I have, if you don't have outreach with actual senators like I do, and Congress people like I do, if you haven't helped on a congressperson's campaign like I have, you don't understand the fear that I feel right now for us. For those of us who knew it wasn't just about having a D by our names. It was about seeing the patterns that McConnell laid bare. It was his party that did the No Child Left Behind, which fucked our school system. It was his party that instilled the school-to-prison pipeline system that we tried state by state to alleviate and completely destroy. It was his party that kept reminding us that they believe Social Security, and especially Social Security disability, are entitlements. And even if you have paid into those shits fully, they felt it's their right to put their hands on it. And when you add that to having the perfect puppet who will greenlight everything with a court, Supreme Court, and appellate courts stacked with people who think like them, on top of that, he has the Senate now, and he has the House. There will be no more system of checks and balances. There will be no more people to tell a president with full fucking immunity what he can and cannot do. And need I remind you again, Project 2025 needed somebody like Trump. And I don't even believe the motherfucker's going to get through the full 4 years. They just needed the body to get a lot of their agendas started. That's why on Twitter, I tweeted out And I'm going to watch it again later on today. That Rise and Fall of the Third Reich documentary is fully on YouTube. You don't even have to pay for it. It is an hour and 30 minutes that shows how people signed up for it and how it was a slow build. And McConnell, you was fucking strategic. I will give you your flowers for that shit, man. Not only did you help dumb down our nation, you strategically placed people at every level of politic society. It was slow, it was methodic, and it was effective. So I will give you your flowers for what you did, because you didn't have to do it fast. You did it slow and steady. And now we all get to sit back and watch the life be choked out of our country and watch this country fall. Because on an economic level, his tariffs are going to fuck over everything from farmers to stores. Stores are already planning to up the cost of stuff to counterbalance the stupid tariff plan he's going to put into action. Bitcoin bros and crypto bros are going to fucking rejoice. Especially assholes like Musk, who owe a big debt, but he ain't got to worry about that no more. He's going to make deals with Trump. Our dollar, you better cherish it at its current value. I said in the thread, and let me bop this down, that the best thing you can do right now for your own safety and money is to find somebody. If you have family overseas, or like somebody said in the thread, and I'm leaving that thread up, please feel free to add any tips. Switzerland is very open still for people to open offshore accounts. The Bahamas still allow certain offshore accounts. But if you have family in places like Canada, where our money is still a little bit higher value than them for now, Mexico, which our money is higher than their peso for now, Germany, if you can, if you have family there especially, they can open up a savings account where you can funnel some of your money. And if you're on disability right now, I know you feel like this doesn't apply to you. And I know times are tight. But every penny you can put away somewhere else of that money right now, I'm telling you, I'm begging you, even if it's $10 of your money, put that shit overseas. Find a relative or somebody you can trust. Vet them out if you need to, if you haven't known them long. But if you've got somebody that has an overseas connection right now, get that fucking savings account started. Because they are going to tank our dollar. I promise you they're going to tank our dollar. Because we took somebody who had an economic background and said, no, you are too much of a woman. You are too black. You are too other for her Asian American heritage, Southeast Asian American heritage. And we took the guy who has failed his way through life, and we are putting him in part of our... Not only our economy under Trump is going to be bad, he has already openly said that Robert Kennedy Jr., the anti-vax, drop dead bear cub guy off in Central Park, is going to be in charge of Health and Human Services, of the CDC, which I'm mind-boggled by because he's anti-vax. And Trump has already gone on record to say he's going to consider those policies, which is going to be bad for those who don't want to die from a plague. So I would suggest any boosters or vaccines that you can get while Joe Biden is still in charge of shit, please do so. I'm going next week to get another COVID booster just to be on the safe side. Because after that, I'm not letting people stick anything in me that isn't FDA approved. But, ooh, guess what? He's going to put that motherfucker in charge of the FDA too. So food and medicine is going to be sus. I would suggest if you have any room in your place, learn how to contain a garden. I've got me a little greenhouse right now. I've got seeds. I am going to be gardening like a motherfucker now. We've got a grow lamp. We're going to get warmer so we can do it throughout the winter too. Because this shit's serious. I know I'm not going to be able to just flee with my family right away. I know I'm probably going to be here when that motherfucker's sworn in. But I've got my exit strategy already rolling off. But if case that for some unforeseeable reason doesn't work out, I am lucky to be in a nice rural area with a property that's not currently in my name, with a husband that is willing to use his whiteness to protect us, and hunker down. And I've got to think about friends that I may have to move out here when the fucking economy takes, because I will not let them be homeless. And so many family that are gonna suffer under this, no matter what incomes they have, because it wasn't about wealth. Power doesn't just come from wealth. Power comes from oppressing people. And if you are black in America right now, you understand that sending your kid to a brick and mortar school right now is at your own risk, because they're not going to regulate weapons anymore. They're not going to hear about an assault rifle ban ever again. They want their good little armed militia of dum-dums who are going to shoot up schools, shoot up mosques, shoot up synagogues, and even their own churches, movie theaters, concerts, and especially schools. They'll tell us, they'll pray for us as we put our kids in coffins again. So if you're listening to me, black people, and you have the means and ability to, pull your babies out of them traditional schools. Because they're already going to be Trump learning centers instead. Or Project 2025 learning centers. The separation of church and state is over. We are now under Christo-theocracy. Christo-fascism. A theocratic fascism. Which doesn't care if you don't worship like them. You'll be banished. You'll be deported. Or you will be put in those detention camps that they have already worked with our already crowded prison system to start putting into play. That was one of his people's first agendas, to put out a statement that they are planning to deport between 12 million and 35 million people in America. And they didn't mean illegal immigrants. They are looking to repeal birthright citizenship. And those of you under DACA, who I was already trying so hard to get anybody who will listen to understand that you are American citizenships, American citizens without the citizenship papers. It's all done. And there will be no marching or protest. There will be no resistance from me. Some of you need to feel what true oppression feels like. And to those white women, to those of you who smiled in our face, told us that you were our sister girls, told us you understood the assignment, but that 57% showed us that you are the snakes we always knew you were, and I never had trust issues for you in the first fucking place. When you are dying of sepsis, unviable pregnancies, when a dude decides that he's going to force himself on you, and you are forced to carry that child to term even at the risk of your health. When your health's at risk because you find out that the fetus inside you is non-viable and you don't just have a miscarriage and you die of sepsis, or when you have a fucking miscarriage and you're arrested because these fuckers don't even want to know how our bodies work. When hospitals shut down maternity wards because it's a lot easier for a woman to just give birth at home now, with a hopeful midwife that won't be arrested for being a midwife, than it is for their hospitals to risk the legalities of a pregnancy that doesn't go right. Welcome to your new America, white women. You told your mothers who fucking risked their lives marching for Roe versus Wade to fuck you. You told everybody who has had to fight for equal rights in this country that your adjacency to white supremacy and that illusion of power and that societal perch was more important than us. You played yourself worse than anybody else in our society. And you're going to be the first one to whine and march. But you will be marching alone because my black ass didn't go the first time. And it sure as hell ain't going to no march the second time. You're not even probably planning to do it before his inauguration because you're a chicken shits. And I have no desire to risk my life from the MAGA armed movement to march with you motherfuckers. There's no solidarity anymore. There's solitude. There's protecting ourselves. And if you are a black woman or a black man and you feel this way, Good. Hold that to you because they're going to be begging us. They're going to be begging us for that sweat equity, that blood. Y'all have taken enough of our blood from our ancestors and from us. You have told us with your full chest that we don't fucking matter. So don't come whining to us when you need papers to just cross state lines because your viable womb makes you a flight risk. Don't cry to us when they're rounding your family up, even though you have the legal green card. But you're other, and they don't want you in their homogenous society. Their Christo society. Because I'm not calling it Christian. None of y'all are behaving like Christians. You dehumanize and you hate. That goes against everything in our Bible. But you don't care. And this is why I walked away from traditional faith. And I choose spirituality. Because I see a lot of you motherfuckers who think you're going to usher in an Armageddon. And that's a reality too. Food is going to be bad, y'all. You complain about the price of stuff now? And the Listeria and E. coli now? Under Trump? That's going to be everyday occurrence. You will be rolling a roulette wheel every time you take a bite of something after 2025. So I suggest, you see what this is? It's a toilet paper roll. You can fold the bottom in and out. I learned this in Parkwood when I lived in Durham, North Carolina, y'all. Fold the bottom in, a little bit of craft, where it'll not completely be sealed, but it will hold the soil that you can use to start seeds. This is stuff I learned years ago because under the first Trump presidency that I warned about, I knew shit was going to get bad. I knew shit was going to be rough. And I said even then, and especially during the pandemic, stocking up our frozen and non-perishables because going out is going to be rough. And like I said, America, you ushered in the fourth right. I thought it was earlier, but no, we are really, truly going to get it. So, seed starters from reusable toilet paper rolls. They're biodegradable. You stick them in the soil. They'll evaporate with time, and they don't harm the seeds that gestate and germinate. You can even grow stuff indoors. I grew green peppers in a literal repurposed basket with just a little bit of fixing up inside my house in North Carolina to just get started. And now we have a greenhouse right outside my house right now. And if you have an apartment with a balcony, it's even better. You can get those canvas bags. They're very cheap on Amazon right now before the tariffs raise those prices. You need to take this seriously. I can't make you. I can only warn you. Get your money right by getting an offshore account, by having somebody that you can trust overseas or just a country overseas that's willing to let you open at least a savings account and start putting what you can away. If you have an investment account, see what you can transfer over as well. I am completely cleaning out my investment account. It's not that much right now, but it doesn't matter. We are going to liquidate a lot of stuff that we know we wouldn't be able to take with us when we choose to leave. I'm a nerd, y'all. I love this picture of us meeting Ron Perlman. The days of being able to plan for Comic-Con, depending on where we go, is over. The reality of this situation hit me the moment Kamala Harris conceded. The moment people still, for some reason, are trying to treat this like everything's normal. And please, you just have an hour of your time. Watch the beginning of the rise and fall of the Third Reich so that you can understand how this is going to go down. Because it's not going to be instant for a lot of it. But it is going to happen. They told us it was going to happen. And some of you still, for some motherfucking reason, thought, no way. We got checks and balances in play. We had. That's no more. Trump filled that Congress with yes men and a couple of yes pick-me women. He filled our court, Supreme Court and appellate courts, with people who want this. they swore allegiance to Trump and to their weird, twisted Christian ideology because they're not true Christians. They are full of hate. They are full of othering. They have their current scapegoat in immigrants. They always hated us black people. We're going to be on the chopping list anyway with their newly instated, fully enforced police system that already view us as animals and easily put down. Even Greg said, do you think they'll release that guy that killed George Floyd last night? After we were talking about it. And I said, I don't know, but it's a possibility. And the people who killed Elijah McClain, it's a real possibility. We just finally got a conviction on one of the cops responsible for Breonna Taylor's death. I don't have hope that anything's going to happen. Tayana Jackson, who was murdered, babysitting her nephew because a cop thought shooting inside of her house was more important. That lady, and why am I blanking? There's so many fucking names. But that lady we lost this year who called because she was scared and they accused her of trying to throw hot water on the cop. We're not safe in our houses. We're not safe in our cars. We're not safe jogging or walking down the street. We're not going to be safe on our jobs. This is what you all voted for or stayed home from. And this isn't the first time I've had to have these conversations with you. It isn't. I had a woman tell me, I need to be motivated off my couch to vote. I told her that fucking motivate off your couch means you don't give a fuck about those of us whose rights are on the line. We could have had things like the Justice and Policing Act for George Floyd. We could have had the John Lewis Voter Protection Act. Those are dead now. We could have truly put America first without being in the hands of dictators and fascists, many of whom have nuclear capabilities, and then not have a doofus who had once took the nuclear football to his private resort, along with state secrets. We are going to see systems gutted, schools demolished, communities roll back into the dark ages. We are going to see Big Pharma make a fucking mint because getting people addicted to drugs when there's no hope is easy. Like I said, American fascism came wrapped in a flag and carrying a motherfucking Bible. And guess what? You can buy his Bibles autographed by Trump now. No blasphemy is too far for you crystal fascists. And that's another reason why I can't break bread with none of you motherfuckers anymore. I know a few of yous reached out to me. Wanted to see how I was doing. Wanted to see if we could still break bread, be friends, talk like any of this is normal. There are a minute few of you now that I will ever even try to associate with. It's almost negligible. And I want you scared right now to think, is she talking about me? I thought we were cool. We're not cool. You told me with your full fucking chest that my right to exist, my right to my own reproductive rights, my right as a woman, as a black woman, as a natural born American, 6 generations in, because y'all brought my ancestors over here in the transatlantic slave trade, and then you kidnapped my ancestors and whiteified them because their tribal ties were too savage for you. I am as American as a motherfucker who wants to wave an AR-15 and wear a flag shirt. But I never thought my rights were non-negotiable. And now I know they're not. I know my rights are going to be fucking strangled away. And all you motherfuckers who are like, Viva la Revolution, we're going to burn this motherfucker down. And build up what? Exactly. The roof's on fire. We don't need no water. Let the motherfucker burn us. Exactly, Beans. That is how I'm feeling with my full chest. I told Greg today because yesterday he stayed home from work. I needed that. I was in my fields. I was in dark places. I'm not on my meds right now. I was thinking, what am I going to do? Why am I still trying to do this? And he stayed home, helped me give it, because I thought he wanted to leave. Not leave the country with me, because he does want to do that, but I thought he wanted to leave me because shit's going to get really dark. He has sat with me while I've done research on things. He has watched the same economic programs as I have. He has watched the same publications as I do, and they're not American based. He has watched me brush up on my German, my Spanish, my Korean, my Japanese. He has seen me study other languages just in case, because I never took for granted that America would not be stupid enough to send us into these dark ages. I just hoped that after y'all saw Project 2025, that you would get how serious this was. And you didn't. So I am saying this to you once again. You can have your resistances. You can risk your life and limb at protest. My black ass is retired. After this, there will be a new design. There will be a new logo. There's no more Bonnet Chronicles. I've given you almost 9 years of talking politics, social issues, news, and trying to educate people. My latest Twitter thread outside telling people that I have to give up my dream of having another baby is a way to help people to survive this, because you're going to have to survive this. That is all I'm doing for you all. I don't want no part of your resistance. I don't want no parts of your protest, because all of this shit was preventable if you had just opened your eyes. And way before this all dropped, when you told me you needed to be motivated off your couches during the midterms, when you said you got to earn my vote, when you said, I only care about the environment, you aren't doing enough for the environment, and now are literally letting an administration in that gives fuck all about the environment. Well, I'm worried about the Palestinian people. So you elect somebody who hates Arab people who aren't mega rich and can get him out of financial problems? You don't give a fuck about Gaza. But you voted out the people that did. So when I say my black ass is done, I am retired. I've walked away from several things in my life. Good, bad, and in between. When I am done with something, I am done. So I appreciate everybody these last few years who watched me go from my bed in a room in Saginaw to my desk when we upgraded, to my new house, which I started again in my bedroom because I didn't have a place because my husband was doing remote work at first, to this office that I love and I know I'm going to miss one day when shit goes down and we have to get out of here. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for supporting the Bonnet Chronicles. And I hope that you'll stay around for the Gen X Cynic, because I'm not going to talk news. I don't want to doom scroll death, deportation, food poisonings, overburdened hospitals, women dying left and right from shit. I don't want to do that. I want to talk fun stuff. So I'm going to do book reviews, TV and movie reviews on here on Tuesdays and Fridays. Stuff that'll at least keep my heart light while this world around me feels fucking scary, while my country literally burns to ashes. I will not keep giving you my voice because my voice doesn't seem to matter. One of the things I have constantly heard from people, either on here or on social media, gosh, Ting, you were right. I didn't believe you when you said all that stuff, but you were right. Or gosh, Tish, your tips helped us through really tough times. How did you know? I listened. I paid attention. I watched the patterns and the fucking cycles. I warned everybody about crystal fascism, religious theocracy. I told you that it was coming, and you chose to ignore my warnings. You chose to ignore your civic duties because it doesn't matter, right? And now it doesn't. So from this point on, this channel will be about fun stuff. This channel will highlight art and music and entertainment and stuff that I like talking about anyway. But as of today, November 7th, 2024, I'm done. I can't talk about news and politics anymore. It's not going to be the same vein. You're not going to need me to report on what Trump's doing. There are a lot of independent journalists who've got this, who are going to try to fight the good fight until they're rounded up. I can't risk my life and my family's life for a selfish, self-entitled country of people who still believe that you're going to be okay right now, who still believe the rule and norm is in play, who still think that any talk of my blackness is playing a race card. You have the America you want. Now deal with it. Don't come to me. I'm retired. I want to thank you all so much for watching over these years. Whether you believe me or not, I'm not angry. I literally got up when I made the decision to do this, and I was at peace. Because I've given what I can give. I've used my voice. I've used my funds. I've used everything I could to try to save this country from itself, and I failed. I don't like losing. I'm a very sore loser. But America lost. Whether you feel right now as you wear your Make America Great Again hats and other fucking stupid slogans that you won, one of the things they show in the rise and fall of the Third Reich is that after they got rid of the undesirables by extermination, deportation, or forced labor camps, they come for you. And it starts on your income level. So if you're not already a millionaire, good luck. Don't come whining to my black ass, especially once I get out of here, that you need my voice, my help, my resistance. We didn't need to have a resistance if you had just voted beyond yourself. And you chose self-interest over all of our society. So that's it, y'all. My final hour doing this is bittersweet. It's something I never thought I'd be doing, because I thought I would be able to call out everything under a Harris administration too, because I think some of you believe that I give Dems a free pass, which, I mean, I have a whole almost 4-year chronicle of the Bonnet Chronicles on YouTube. This is going to go up on YouTube too. I've held any politician I felt wasn't getting there or were dangerous feet to the fire. But I need to be done. For my mental health, for my family's safety, and just because I'm fucking tired. I need to be done. I really hope that you can be safe. And I just seen that, Quasar. Let me read this out before I wrap this up. I'm fucking pissed about this. I'm going to be living in fear every day as a disabled white guy. I'm so sorry this is going to hurt you and that we didn't do better. I hope you can find joy during these dark times ahead, and you too. I didn't want this for you. I didn't want this for anybody. I wanted an America where we had the right to complain even when things were going pretty well and content. I wanted people to be able to see their dreams, and especially disabled Americans, because I'm fearful right now for them. And even those of us with invisible disabilities like my mental illness, because they don't just start with the obvious people. Disabled people are always on the chopping block for funding and anything else. And if you don't think they won't consider putting any of us in the camps, think again. I don't like spreading fear. That's why this has to be the last of these. Because that's all I've got left now. The little tiny sparks of hope that I have had that wasn't shredded on Tuesday, I am locking it deep within myself. Because I can't share it no more. I don't feel it no more. I'm done. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Beans, for being the constant. I know you'll mod for me whether I'm talking about a TV show or music. But as far as me continuing to waste my voice on people who refuse to see where we're at right now, I can't do it no more. I won't. I'm retired. Thank y'all so much for watching. Thank you to those who will watch the replay and probably be pissed on YouTube. I know a few of you might even take this to try to make a name for yourself because I'm easy to hate. But I don't care anymore. I can lift my head up high knowing I did everything I could to try to save this democracy from its dumbass destruction. And I lost. And America lost. So I will see y'all when I get back in December after a much needed break to decompress, figure shit out. But it won't be for one of these. Thank y'all for watching. And you have a great life for as long as you got it.